casting a prop head with SkinFlex 5 and TC-284 flexible foam. Now in this video I'm going to be showing how to cast up a flexible skin in a TC-5130F silicone mold made in a previous tutorial. This of course is a mold that I made that's just a one-piece mold that opens like a jacket, and I actually used a softer silicone on the ears. I used some TC-5110F on the ears. And I'm going to be casting a skin with SkinFlex 5. This is a soft Shore A5 polyurethane, and real important to make sure you shake up that part B before each use. Now what I've done here is I've dispensed some part B, and I'm going to pre-pigment that to match the lightest flesh tone of my subject. And I'm using the inside of my wrist as kind of a reference point there, but since I'm going to wind up with a translucent polyurethane skin, I want to make sure I do this as light as possible so when I go to paint this later on, I don't have to opaque it to make it lighter, because always a good idea to start lighter than you need if necessary and then darken using paints. And this, of course, will be painted using the SC94 paint, but more about that later in the video. For now, what I'm doing is adding a little bit of this 6918 polyurethane pigment, and then I'm going to supplement that with some flocking colors. And flocking colors can be kind of tricky to find. Fox and Superfine over in Georgia, they have a pretty good selection of flocking colors if you have trouble finding those. But I typically add just enough of the polyurethane pigment to get the kind of base color that I want, and then supplement that with flocking to just give it a lot more realism. Because just flesh tone pigment by itself, if you just use the pigment, you wind up with a very flat looking color, whereas when you mix in the flocking colors, since these are little fibers that maintain their independence, they wind up giving you a much more realistic mottled color rather than one homogeneous mixed color that you would get if you just used a lot of different pigments. So real important, if you're shooting for high realism, flocking really helps pull that off a lot better than just straight pigment. Now I'm making this a little bit darker than it has to be because I'm going to be doing a brushable skin, and when I add the FiberThick thickener to this, it's going to lighten it up a little bit. Now a real important step for this is a polyurethane system and it is moisture sensitive, so as soon as I get my color on the B the way I want it, I'm going to seal that up with a lid. So real important, if you're doing this pre-mixing your part B to the flesh tone that you want, make sure you have a lid for that container so you can seal that up. And I'm mixing up more of that B than I need because, as you'll see later on, when we patch and fill little air bubbles, we'll need some of that same batch in order to keep the color consistent. Now I think this was about an 800 gram batch, so about 400 grams of the part B, and now I'm adding the 400 grams of part A. And remember, as soon as you add that part A, that activates the material and the clock starts ticking. Always a good idea with any of these systems to use them at room temperature. And now we are ready to thicken the SkinFlex 5. So again, normally this is a pourable liquid, but because I'm going to be brushing this into that silicone mold, I want it to have enough of a kind of thixotropic effect just to cling to the inside of that silicone mold. And once I get that mixed up really good, I'm ready to start adding my FiberThick thickener. And you're just going to add that FiberThick a little bit at a time until you build it up to the thickness you want. So the nice thing about the FiberThick, it is inert, so it's not changing the chemistry, it's just making it thicker. So I add a little bit at a time, stir that in, check it, and add some more if necessary. But real important, anytime you're adding something like this, especially when you've already mixed up your parts A and B, remember that you are using up the working time of the material as you're doing this. So real important to keep track of time and make sure you're not using up valuable time thickening that you might need later to apply it to the inside of the mold. So you want to work fast and accurately and keep track of time. So this is a good idea to keep your smartphone handy with it set for roughly the pot life or the working time of the material you're using. So here for SkinFlex 5, that working time is about 8 to 10 minutes at room temperature. And just remember, polyurethanes, warmer temperature will speed it up, colder temperature will slow it down. You see that getting thicker there? And I'm going to have this have a little bit of a slump to it because I'm going to be pouring it into the mold and then using the brush to push it around and push it into all the detail. Now this unfortunately is very difficult to film and do at the same time, and even having someone else film it is tricky because I'm working in this mold that opens up like a jacket. So what I'm doing here is just using a disposable brush to push that SkinFlex into the ears and into the face, especially around the mouth and the nose. Make sure I get all the air bubbles out. And what you're doing is kind of a scrubbing action to make sure you get the SkinFlex that's been thickened as a paste pushed into all those areas with high detail so that you don't wind up with little air bubbles. But if you do get an air bubble, it's not the end of the world. As you'll see later in this video, we're going to go over how to repair those air bubbles when they happen, because typically when you're doing a brushed in skin like this, it's inevitable that you're going to get an air bubble somewhere in that process. Now this can be a messy process, so real important, make sure you're wearing gloves. Remember that polyurethane systems like this are very adhesive, so just be prepared to not get that on your hands or face or any other part of your body, because it will really stick tenaciously. So important to use a disposable brush and get that pushed all into the inside of the mold. You see now I'm ready to close that up. And remember, this is all happening within that 8 to 10 minute working time, again at room temperature. So real important to have everything ready to go. So as soon as you get your skin brushed into the inside of the mold, you're ready to close that mold and strap it. And then I'm going to use the leftover SkinFlex to brush in on the kind of the collar area of that mold so I can finish out the neck. And then I can also reach in and brush some additional material over the seam to make sure that's really nice and thick. But all of this is done within that 7 to 8 minute working time. So this is why it's real important to keep track of that working time so you can get everything you need done well within the working time of the material you're using. So in this case, I thickened it with the FiberThick and did that brush up application all within that time. And here I'm finishing off brushing that around the neck. And now I'm ready to let that sit and cure. So this has about an 8 to 10 minute working time and about a 5 to 6 hour cure at room temperature. So now you can see that skin brushed into the inside. You see I got a really nice thorough coating. And now we are ready to back that with flexible foam. So for the foam, I'm going to be using some variable density TC-5110F flexible foam. Now in this particular foam system, you can adjust the part A to vary the density, and if you mix it 50A to 100B, you're going to wind up with around an 8-pound density in free rise. But if you use less of the part A, you get a denser foam, all the way up to a 13-pound density. And what I'm doing here is as soon as I get that foam mixed up and poured into the mold, I'm sloshing it a little bit to make sure I get the ears filled, and then I'm setting that at a slight angle and allowing the foam to rise without disturbing it. Now SkinFlex is still a relatively new product, and I really want to try this on a rotational casting machine. So I may be doing some of that soon, but for now, this is just one layer brushed in, backed with the TC-5110F flexible foam, and then I mixed up a small batch and just brushed that in around the little collar area. This is where you will use a lot of disposable brushes, because as soon as a brush is used with foam or any kind of polyurethane system like this that sets up, it will destroy that brush. So I'm just using a 1-inch brush here to push that foam around, and as it's expanding, that'll help it coat that little collar area and give it a nice little flange at the base of the neck. And foam sets up pretty fast. So this was already, the skin had already set up, so it had its 5 to 6 hour working time and set time already come and go. So now the foam, we're ready to let that set up, but foam is really quick. So in this case, I just let it sit for about 45 minutes at room temperature, and then we are ready to demold. Now I don't show it here, but I did poke a hole in the bottom of that foam, and I did that so that I could do the step you're seeing right now. So I could slide it down over a 1/2-inch pipe. So there we go. Now my head is ready to demold. Pull off that plaster bandage shell and strip off that 5130F silicone mold, and we're ready to see our results. And this is where it really helps to have a nice flexible mold you can turn around inside out to demold. And you see we got a really good bond between the SkinFlex 5 and the 284 foam. So really nice to have all of our skin and our foam bonded together really well. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I did get an air bubble on this. The left ear, I had a little void or a little air bubble at the top of the left ear. So I'm going to repair that using some Thickened SkinFlex 5. And of course, I'm doing this with a batch using that part B that I pre-pigmented earlier. So real important. This is why you want to have some of that pre-pigmented B standing by the original batch color, and that way everything will match and you don't have to go through the whole color matching process just to do this one repair. Now, for those of you new to this process, I'll link to all of the products I'm using in the video description, including the flocking. So be sure to check that out. And what I'm using here to sculpt this is just some popsicle sticks and a tongue depressor that I broke in half to get that kind of pointed edge and a rounded edge. So I'm mainly showing this so you can see how you can easily make your own tools just using popsicle sticks and tongue depressors and things like that. And I'm just carefully reshaping that ear. And once I have that the way that I want it, what I did is I actually moved this in front of a space heater on low just to accelerate that little batch that I did. And the reason I did that is that way there was less risk of it getting disturbed or slumping or anything like that by just adding a little bit of heat. It sped it up and my repair was done and well bonded to that original skin, and I'm ready to move on to the cleanup stage of just trimming and painting. Now, a quick word about mold release. I did not use any mold release when I cast this into that silicone mold, but if you do, the mold release I'd recommend for this would be the E302. That is a stoner release product. That's a great paintable mold release, and what that means is that's an easy mold release to clean off your cast parts in order to get them to take paint. Now, about the paint. I'm painting this with SC94. I've used this in several videos before. This is a single component. That's what the SC stands for. SC94 is a flexible paint base. It's actually a water-based polyurethane, and you add water-based pigments to it to color it, because normally it just dries clear. And I've done several tutorials recently on painting with that, so I will link those on the end screen. But again, this is all done with SC94, and SC94 is low viscosity enough that you can run it through an external mix airbrush without thinning. So real handy product to know about if you do any kind of cosplay props or special effects skins or any kind of flexible polyurethane where you need paint to stick to it. The SC94 does that really well. So here I'm just going through the usual paces of airbrushing, and then I usually do some flick brush painting, just flicking on some mottled color here on the face. And then I will finish that up with a little bit of brush detail, and then I'll be all done. Now I'm just doing a quick paint job just for the sake of this video, not necessarily trying to match anything or anyone, but just to give you an idea how all of that works. And of course, all the product links will be in the video description, so be sure to check that out. And there you go. There is the process of casting a prop head. And of course, these techniques lend themselves to the medical simulator world, the special effects world, the cosplay world, anytime you need to reproduce a realistic human head like this. And all of the products can be found at bjbmaterials.com, so be sure to check that out. But of course, I will link all of the products in the video description and some important tutorials here on the end screen. So as always, thanks for watching and thanks for supporting the channel.